And welcome to another Amputee Coalition AC Newsflash update. The Amputee Coalition team is daily committed to serving those with limb loss and limb difference, especially as we are in April, the Limb Loss, Limb Difference Awareness Month. Our leadership at the Amputee Coalition is one of the ways we partner to maximize the strength of the coalition with a dedicated board. Our board members continue to be committed to the value of intentionally focus on partnership, not only as our way forward, but as our central force in our grassroots work and those at the national level. I'm joined today by one of our dedicated board members and partners for a long time. Last month at the Academy Conference, I had the pleasure of being in person with her, and I would like to introduce our guest, Dr. Danielle Melton, who is the Director of Amputee Medicine and Rehabilitation Program at the University of Colorado School of Medicine. Dr. Melton specializes in the rehabilitation of orthopedic trauma, with an emphasis on non-surgical management of patients with limb salvage and amputation, encompassing all areas of care and providing a comprehensive continuity of care for her patients. Dr. Melton started with our board at the beginning of 2024. You might have seen the announcement, but also served for many years on our SIMAC committee and is chair of that very committee. Danielle, we welcome you to the AC News Flash. Please kick us off and tell us why you're excited about being on the board, and tell us a little bit about your specialized work and how it aligns with our mission.
Cass, thanks so much for having me today in April, which happens to be the month that's recognized as Limb Loss Awareness Month. And I'm very excited to be here and very excited to be a new board member. As a physician who's board certified in physical medicine rehabilitation, I treat patients who are faced with amputations. And one of the biggest issues that they have, especially initially, is how this is going to change their life. And so as part of that conversation that I have with them, I have found over the years I rely so heavily on the educational resources that the Amputee Coalition provides. And I often direct patients and their families back to the Amputee Coalition for continued support and education. So you know, I absolutely love what the AC provides to people who are living with limb loss and limb difference. And I really have found that this is aligned very well with the work that I do at the University of Colorado, where I want to focus on creating a center for limb loss and limb reconstruction, using an interdisciplinary team to provide the best possible care for people with limb loss and limb difference.
Thank you, Danielle. It's great to hear about the work and the evolving resources that you're creating and care. You know, I mentioned we had the opportunity to be together in Chicago. We'll tell folks that we were there at the Academy meeting for the Limb Loss Preservation Registry meeting gathering. And that's with our partners from the Thought Leadership and Innovation Foundation. They have accepted ownership of the Limb Loss and Preservation Registry in partnership with the Amputee Coalition. And this, folks, is moving from a federally funded project to a real-time, permanent, patient-centered registry. And this is supporting those living with limb loss and limb difference in their journey to really thrive in their lives as they choose. It provides data and insights for providers like you, Dr. Melton, researchers, hospitals, many other partners in the field to make real-time decisions based on data that's tracking patients, that's looking at care and all sorts of things that we want to know. We know this transition makes a significant step forward for our collaborative efforts to drive healthcare innovation and to improve outcomes for individuals facing with and living with and impacted by limb loss and limb difference. So would love to hear a little bit from you about why you think this partnership is so exciting, why the registry becoming a real-time valid tool that we will use forevermore, and just tell us a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. You know, for the last 5 years, I've had an opportunity to serve on the Limb Loss Preservation Registry external advisory panel, just as you have. I was the science chair, and I had an opportunity to work with the leading stakeholders in the field to create this registry. And you know, as you mentioned, this was really created because the entities in our country who understand the importance of creating a registry, NIH, DOD, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, all recognize that we need accurate data in order to care for this patient population. As a physician who cares for amputees and people living with a limb difference, I rely on data and information to serve my patients. But over the years, I have been very concerned that the numbers that we use as estimations are based on old literature. And really, I've felt that it's probably a gross underestimation of what that number really looks like. And in fact, as you know, the Amputee Coalition recently funded a study, and the results were really pretty impressive in that it did confirm our concerns. That the numbers are actually much higher. So we used to quote about 2 million people in the United States living with limb loss. In actuality, it's well above 5.6 million. And so that has a significant impact on those of us in healthcare who are providing the care, and those of us in advocacy who need to be able to better support this patient population. So I'm really thrilled that the Amputee Coalition is working to continue management of the limb loss registry, and I think it's vitally important to ensure the success of the registry.
Thank you for adding that at the end, Dr. Melton. What we wanted to ask you about was why this partnership is so important, why the Amputee Coalition being at the table is so important. And you state that so well. This is a patient-centered registry, and we're just super excited that we will continue to be at the front of its management and its implementation in the world. So very, very exciting. And as you noted, the prevalence study we did release recently, more than 5.6 million people living with limb loss and limb difference, a number which we will all be aspiring to achieve in serving, because it is a large difference from what we were using before. Really want to thank you for joining us today. I know, being on camera, talking a little bit about what you do every day, talking about the registry and about all the service to the Amputee Coalition that you've had over the years. Really appreciate you for that. And want to thank everyone for joining us on the AC News Flash. Remember to stay connected on AC Connect. That's our online community. Look for resources about the national conference. Registration just opened. And stay tuned for all things Amputee Coalition. Thank you, everyone. Have a great Limb Loss, Limb Difference Awareness Month.